What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Design Theater. Today we are looking at the comic artist Peach Momoko. Again, probably mispronounced the name. As usual, I apologize for that. We're going to go ahead and dive into this. Peach, she is a Marvel cover artist, but she also does her own individual comic called Demon Days, and she's huge on Instagram because she's just extremely prolific. She's always putting out new stuff. And I really dig her work, so I wanted to share it with you guys. What I really like about her work is that it's got more of a graphic design type vibe to it, which is one of the reasons why I think she's able to create so much work. And most of it is traditional too. So a lot of this stuff is like watercolor, pen and ink, and in this digital era, I really appreciate art that's done traditionally. And so we're just kind of going to go through some of this stuff. It's got kind of a she's got kind of a horror vibe to some of her work, but it feels very much like a light horror. It's not too dark. It's not that grim. Stuff like this. Like I said, this is much more. There's just so much more design going on here than what you would typically expect from, like, say, a cover artist, right? Like, she's got a lot of innate designs going on, and I love this kind of contrast that she creates between this photorealistic rendering of this car with all this detail, and then you have this anime figure with the tattoos on her body. I believe this is her character um, from her Demon Days comic. Let's go ahead and go through some of the other ones. Today's just going to be a quick episode. Yeah, again, it's you can see these different elements of the graphic design in her work, right? So you have, let's say, this is very much a circular composition. We see circles here, we see circles here, circle, 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 right? But then there's also triangles hidden within this piece. You got a triangle here, it's going here. You also have this triangle of her body, right? And then you have the triangle that is basically the shape of her face, which is something like this, right? And so you have what looks like three triangles and three circles kind of stacked on top of one another. And I'll get into like a compositional exercise of how it is that we can exercise this element of understanding composition sometime soon. Um, but breaking these down into very simple shapes and being able to see that really helps with your understanding of design, because you start to see that there's a hierarchy, there's a way of which it is that they're organizing these shapes, right? Again, it's got a strong graphic design vibe to it. You can tell that she's pretty much a master of composition and all these different elements, but she doesn't need to implore those on every single illustration because she has that strong kind of graphic design kind of vibe to it. I guess this is one of her comic book pages. Really cool. Really dig that. Again, it's the same thing. It's like the idea is very simple, but the execution is what it is that makes it so brilliant, so cool. I love this stuff. Very cute work. Yeah, she has a lot of variety in her stuff. I know she's done some superhero stuff, and then obviously she does this kind of cute, girly kind of stuff, which I think is very fun. Oh man, I mean the detail here in this one. I mean we could spend quite a bit of time going over the detail here, but there's just a lot of storytelling. Again, we can pull back, like I've said before, and we look for the the ways in which it is that these shapes are organized in order to understand the design principles that they're using. So there's a lot of symmetry in this piece. There's symmetry on either side. We can see that you've got these here, right? and then you've got these are hanging down, and then you've obviously got the circles here, 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 and here, which form kind of like a diamond-like shape. And then you have this circle that's kind of suggested in the background as well. Back here. We have these kind of triangle-like shapes that are pointing upwards. These elements down here on the bottom, they add quite a lot of variety to the overall design, because if we look at the top of this, the design is very symmetrical. Her face is very symmetrical, her hair is very symmetrical, the design around it is very symmetrical, which just shows how brilliant she is if she's doing all this traditionally. But then she throws in elements of variety to keep it from being boring, such as the detail here versus the detail here. And then this detail down here is much more asymmetrical. So you could pretty much split the drawing into like a symmetrical versus asymmetrical elements. You know, and then these elements here are not symmetrical either. So there's a certain amount of these elements, and I would say these too. These are not symmetrical. They're not the same, in other words. Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's go through these last couple of pieces before I let you guys go. Another awesome cover, another awesome use of a graphic design element. I love stuff like this. I just think it's so cool. Again, just like it really shows that the idea trumps everything. Because I know this woman makes a ton of money. She does really, really awesome work, and she just has an insanely high work ethic. I love this. This is cool. We got a few more. We're just going to kind of go through them real quick. Very cool. Demon Days. Okay, so this is her independent comic. So I guess the previous ones we were looking at also was from Demon Days, considering that this illustration is very similar. But again, you see that there's symmetrical elements to this drawing, and then there's asymmetrical elements to this drawing, right? So it seems like to me the idea is that this woman has a demon in her, or she's part demon or something along those lines. I'm assuming that because we have this kind of split, right? We have this split between her two faces, or maybe her two personas. And on one side we see like a demon. Over here, there's more graphic elements on one side versus the other. Yeah, so this was published by Marvel. Very cool. And then this will be the last one. We'll go ahead and call it at this one. As usual, in the description below, if you have any interest in checking out some more of her work, I put all the links in the description. I am also a comic artist. If you would like to subscribe and follow to see more videos like this or my comic process, feel free to. I also have links to a couple of free comics in the description below for those that are interested. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and take care. Leave a comment if there's an artist you would like for me to look at. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.